Hello Muggles and welcome back to my Harry Potter kitchen, the YouTube series where I am baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making a recipe for all the food and drink featured inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we made a sherry spritz cocktail, then check out the link down below in the description to catch up. But it is a Magic Monday, so let's see what's waiting for us today. If you're a fan of all things Harry Potter and you don't want to miss a thing from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Monday when there is a brand new recipe. But without further ado, let's get back into the book. Okay, so Hagrid and Harry are still in the leaky cauldron, and Harry has just met Professor Quirrell, but he's carried on out through the backyard, through the archway and into Diagon Alley. So Harry is pretty amazed by all these weird and wonderful shops that he's seeing for broomsticks, cauldrons, owls, but he's got to go to Gringotts first to get his money, and I think I've just seen our next recipe. Got it here somewhere, said Hagrid, and he started emptying his pockets onto the counter, scattering a handful of mouldy dog biscuits over the Goblin's Book of Numbers. Now it might not be human food, but food is food, so let's make some dog biscuits. For this recipe, you will need 400 grams of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 225 grams of butter, 100 grams of golden caster sugar, 100 grams of dark soft brown sugar, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of milk, and a bar of dark chocolate. Now, while I could make some actual dog biscuits, I don't think that would be in the spirit of my Harry Potter kitchen. So instead, we're going to add a bit of magic and make some human-friendly, edible dog biscuits which have a nice hidden chocolate centre in them. Obviously, that means you probably shouldn't feed them to your dog, so please don't hold me responsible if they get their hands on them, because they are that good. To begin, you want to combine your dry ingredients in a bowl. That's your flour, baking powder, and salt. Keep on stirring this through until it is well combined and then set it to one side. In a separate bowl, cream together your butter and your 2 sugars until it's light and fluffy. You might need to scrape down the sides of your bowl to make sure it's all incorporated. While that's mixing away, you can crack your egg into a jug and then whisk it through until it is well combined. Slowly pour the egg into your butter and sugar. Add in your milk and keep on stirring through. Next, we want to pour in all of our dry ingredients into the bowl and then slowly fold that through on a low speed until it begins to form together. Now, it's important not to overmix this, otherwise we'll have some really tough cookies. So once the flour starts to disappear, we're good to go. Remove the dough from the bowl and place it onto some cling film, wrap it up really good, and then pop it in the fridge to chill for an hour. Now, to make these authentic dog biscuits, we're going to create a bone stencil which we can use to cut out our cookies with. Now, you can probably find these in a baking store, but I'm going to show you a quick trick to make them at home. To make our stencil, you want to get some baking paper and measure it out to about 15 centimeters, which is going to be the full length of our bone. Fold the baking paper in half and then fold it in half again. You then want to take a shot glass, place it on one end of your baking paper and trace around it. Create a 1 centimeter border along the edge, cut along this line and then around your circle. It should look like a P shape. You then want to cut a slight angle at the top of the circle, which is going to make the dent in our bone, unravel it, and voila! It's magic. You can leave these just as they are, but I like to trace around them on cardboard and cut them out so we have a much sturdier stencil. This will last longer and be much easier to cut around on our dough. Once the dough is nice and chilled, you can roll it out on a floured surface until it is half a centimeter thick. Place your stencil down onto the dough and then cut around them to get our bone shapes. You want to position these so you can try to get as many as possible out of a single roll. If you do have any pastry left over, you can bring it together again, roll it out, and then cut away. Once your dough is all cut, you want to pop it to one side while you prepare your filling. For this, all you need to do is take your bar of chocolate and slice it into thin strips. Once that's done, take your baking tray and line it with a sheet of greaseproof paper. Place your biscuits down, trying to spread them as evenly as possible. You should be able to get 4 or 5 to a tray. Take a thin strip of your chocolate and place it along the middle. You also want to break off a smaller piece to go in each of the circles. Next, take a second biscuit and place it over the top, pressing down around the outsides to seal it in place. Don't worry if it begins to break at the top, you can smooth it over with the palm of your hands to bring it back together. One last thing to do before we bake these is to use some fondant tools to mark out some details at the top of the bone, and we can also take a lightning bolt cutter to place our mark in the middle. Once you're happy with the look of them, you can bake them in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Now, a very easy mistake to make when you're baking cookies is to over bake them, and that's because when they're cooking they are very soft and also very pale. But what happens is when you take them out, they'll start to harden up. So as soon as these cookies start to go golden brown at the edges, you know they're done, they're good to go. Even if the middle seems a bit too soft, take them out, let them cool slightly, and then you'll be able to test them. Allow the biscuits to cool on the tray until they begin to firm up, and then you can take them off to cool properly on a wire rack. And we're done. Your dog might not be able to enjoy these biscuits, but you definitely can. So there you have it. That is all for this week's recipe of our human-friendly dog biscuits. If you want to try them out, I'd love to hear what you think and if people fall for them. You know, maybe have them on the train on the way to work and see if people stare at you weird for eating dog biscuits. I don't know. That is all for now. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell so you get an alert when there is a brand new video, and I will see you